Sorry about the noise. Please stop the noise. There we go. Hello, hello. It is the Tinman here. Says I have a poor connection, but I don't think it's going to be that poor. Hopefully don't mind I'm on an angle. See if I can fix it a bit. I just thought I would give us a little bit different of a view, so we can watch and see if any Bigfoot tries sneaking up on the side of us here. So hello, it's the Tinman. Felt like doing another live. It seems pretty entertaining to me, and I find that some of the people out there are entertained by it. Scout the Beast, you changed your name. Hi, Mary. Hi, Brown Dwarf. Why? What's up? Hey, Jackie, how's it going? Jackie 420. Gary, how's it going? Hey, man, hey, man, hey, man. So, yeah, I don't know if anybody was interested in, I got a couple of good things that are going on. I got somebody that is willing to help me out with some video editing. Hey, Van M, right on. Just wanted to share some good news. Felt like doing it. Can I get a shout out? You know, that's your style. I don't do shout outs. Although Jackie 420's out there, you all know who the shout out is. Everybody, that's right, because the next people who come on, okay, there's Jackie 420. He's got his shout out. Gary, always. Nice. So yeah, a video guy. He's a gamer. He's a guy on YouTube already, low-key. Just a Canadian kid that has tried it out a few times. He's in his young 20s. Hopefully I'm not bothering the mic there. I'm just trying to set the phone better. But I had talked to him a few different times, and he actually ended up approaching me today and this evening here. And yeah, so we're going to get together and see what we can do to get... Yeah, I don't know about Facebook or any of that kind of stuff. First, what I want to do is blow the minds of many people by taking a lot of my stuff that I'm able to see and analyze and all that kind of stuff, get it into photo, get it into video photo like that. And plus I have another good piece of information here too. What did you think of the link? I didn't get a link. Nothing came through. But I did check out that Scott Carpenter guy. Anyways, so I'm just not going to read any of those things for a second. I'm going to do this. I just learned something today. Hide all my messages for a minute. So let me back up. Where was I there? So with that kid, pretty darn excited about that information for sure. I look forward to just trying to bring the world better information on what's going out there. Another thing I want to do a shout out for Rick. He comes on my channel and stuff. You'll be able to pick up his name on one of my him doing messaging and stuff if you want to check out his channel. I can't remember his whole title right now. Anyways, he's going to be uploading something that sounds sweet to see. He's describing it to be small, like 12 inches, 300 millimeters, 30 centimeters, and running, climbing up a tree, fast as anything, monkey type, and all that kind of stuff. And that's that thing. A couple of times I almost thought that it was rolling the way it moves. So I'm really looking forward to that, and I'm hoping that's something that's going to come through sweet there and be a real real visible one. Anyways, so we'll talk about that again. And the other one was, you know, for those who, whoops, I'll just do this real quickly here. Should show up a little bit in the light. For those who have seen these pictures here, not too sure, but we got a face of a Bigfoot right there, a Sasquatch, and he also has a finger right there over his lip. It's like he's kind of going like this a little bit as a decoy. You can actually see the couple of notches if you look closely in the fingers. And then we have really good finger references, because here's a bunch of fingers, and here's some more fingers, and then you get to see more fingers in amongst here, back in the bush. But anyways, so this photo today, along with its 2-second before or after brother picture, same guys, but just 2 seconds in the thing, in the video clip. My doctor, which I'm not going to say his name or anything, but he was pretty darn excited to see that, and he wanted a copy of it, blah blah blah. I think he's going to share it with people. So soon as a person on that level with that kind of little bit of, you know, a little bit of pull, that gets me super excited. It might be a dead end. I don't know. You know, I've hit so many dead ends, and we have doctors out there who are on dead ends. But the difference here is this guy has been listening to me for my year, plus all the stuff before my Bigfoot stuff. So he's always been trying to analyze, you know, doctors do that. He's the type of guy that tries to analyze a personality and all that kind of stuff. He's figured me out to however I have been. He's listened to this whole story up until this point. He's met some of my children, all this kind of stuff. Anyways, and seemed excited about that picture. I'm going to unhide my chat. Do I just hit that? No. And hopefully you guys are still around. Hey, right on, you guys are talking. Cool. Hope you were listening. That was important stuff. So, Jackie, I don't know if you have been watching, but I guess I haven't really said in the name of Jackie 420. Here's a video clip of some pretty cool impersonation footprints. I don't know if you know that, but Bigfoot and Littlefoots do impersonation footprints in the sand and whatever else. So I'm going to have to get some of those for you. Thumbs up. Perfect. So a question or anything, that was mostly why I was excited. I just wanted to put it out there that soon I might be able to be putting up some good video stuff. And soon... Didn't get that link, Gary. Never came through. So it was under the message. Okay, you know what? I'll go back and take a look. You know, usually those things light up, don't they? Aren't they usually whatever? Hey, G-Town, how's it going? Yeah, I didn't see it. You know, I honestly didn't see it. I usually notice those kind of things, and I didn't see it. It wasn't lit up. So I wasn't able to check it out. But are you referring to that Scott guy? Well, okay, Brown Dwarf saying, Tinman, can you get into Sasquatch and dumpster diving? Well, you know, I have dumpster dived one time in my life. Well, probably a couple of times when I was younger, you know, you see something good in there. Just getting off of work. Good old times of work, eh? Cloaking, Mark, what I think those are cloaking is basically when we hide. You know, right now I'm kind of cloaking. I'm using whatever stuff around me as my cloaking device. And then part of the trippiness of cloaking is just stuff like this. And then stuff like this as the movement happens, and maybe you're not moving, so it gives this weird cloaking. But if you really look, if you look it up in the dictionary, it basically describes hiding. It doesn't describe anything kind of magical or disappearing or anything. So that's kind of what I get on cloaking. What did you mean by dumpster diving and Sasquatch? There, Brown. And I hope you checked out your video with all that great vocal. Thank you very much, Venom. Hey, so you are sitting in the same park, yeah. That's right, I'm using the Wi-Fi on this company named Staples in Mission, British Columbia. You know, I can grab a coffee there if I want. Like I do have a tea right now going, but I don't want to show you the cup. Yeah, I hear you, Brown Dwarf, on that Scott guy. I watched him a little bit yesterday and stuff, and yeah, it sounds like they got a lot going on. Yeah, free Wi-Fi, it's the way to go. It's a good thing when you don't, when you're unable to have Wi-Fi or whatever, it's a really good thing that you're able to grab it free, especially once closed hours are on and stuff. I love that. Oh, I see, okay. Yeah, I could see how Bigfoots would be reported doing that. They're moving in. They're taking over. It's not like it is a phenomenon. This is a change. This is a change in what do we call it? I'm forgetting the word, but not just in their regular system or whatever, but in their natural system. What's the word I'm looking for? Kidnap some hunter, yeah, I believe it. See you, J-Town. Take care. Yeah, Rick. Rick, hey Mary, how's it going? If I didn't already say hi to you. I don't think I did. You've just popped in. But, Rick, you'd find him on my channel pretty easily. He, you know, in the last few videos, if you happen to, or just watch for him, he's changed his name. He has Bigfoot written in there. I wouldn't doubt it if if we stick around long enough, I wouldn't doubt it if he ends up jumping on here. Yeah, culture maybe, but more our nature part of it are how it takes centuries and billions of years to change that part of us, you know? We kind of think of it always like that, but there is, yeah, Venom, I agree, there's a lot more people involved. I agree with that. But even for the people who are looking to be able to have success, I know Rick, I think he's only just started looking. Like there's a few people, few viewers from my channel here that have given me the impression that they have only just started looking and they're already getting close into success stuff. And that's just phenomenal, you know, and big or small. It still has to do with the same kind of a story of it. And yeah, what are the odds of that, right? So people who are just starting to look are having some kind of reaction. Plus there's people who have been looking for a lot longer of time starting to have more closer reactions. Plus there's just encounters of, you know, people reporting it to the police and so on and so forth, of stuff going on. So what has happened is the population has just been exploding, there's a comfort for them to be closer to us and not necessarily have to be way out in the mountains. Maybe when we see all these big older ones out in the mountains, maybe there's a slight thing that older ones live out there. Maybe the ones that need that kind of a more peaceful of life, because all the forest needs care. So that means they might have a pretty good distributed system where, see that guy in my window right there? The big old guys like that who get grumpy, okay, you go stay way out here, Uncle Frank, and we'll do the city work, and we'll have the kids do all the easy little stuff. And that's the thing that I'm really concerned about. These kids that we're seeing can be the ones that end up being these Sasquatch Bigfoot. And if that's the case, the amount of kids that it takes to do the work is huge numbers, and those huge numbers then multiply up fairly soon to be that. And then, is it litters? Do they have, somebody said that the other day, do we call it litters that they're having? So there's some pretty wicked stuff going on. Are you going to hang around for a bit, J-Town? I'll decriminalize there wherever you are. Where are you, Gary? Yeah, that's the way to do it. Painkillers are, you just think about what painkillers feel on your gut and make your bowel movements the next day. Just those couple of things. Are they even worth it just for those kind of minor things? And pretty much everybody gets that effect off of them painkillers. So they're obviously pretty not reactive, very nice. So if you can use a 420 of some sort to make yourself feel comfortable, man, it's my hat's off to you. I'm just worried about the wrong people. Yeah, Venom, I'm really worried. If you're talking about the wrong people getting involved with Bigfoot and Sasquatch, 100%. But we can't, we have to keep pushing towards your positive thing of just having a worriedness, and knowing that means we have to make sure we're implementing things that we somehow are controlling the gun crazy people, not the gun smart people who follow laws. That's who mostly have guns out in Canada and America, are mostly people who are going to follow the laws, especially when it comes to animal laws. And but here, who's going to be willing to step out of the bounds and just do stupidity? And then what happens off of that? It's a huge subject, man. It's huge. Yeah, Mary's asking, how long do they live? I don't know, Mary, probably 50 years at least. And Mary's saying she thinks they have single kids. Oh, Australia, that's cool, Gary. Because all this written stuff is all written, and all you guys get to hear it. And I repeat, the people are watching later are only hearing what I'm having to say. So I don't say too much about all you stoners. All you guys medicated guys, I mean. No, it is what it is. People party and have good times. It's when you're not having good times that is the problem. So Mary's saying, I think they have single... Oops. Sorry about that. There's these clumsy fingers. So Mary is saying... they live for 120 years, Gary's saying. Oh, you thought Jackie was leaving? No way, man. That brother will always have a window going open on my channel. So, do you think Bigfoot live underground? Yes, I think they incorporate underground. Remember what underground doesn't always mean. Because lots of times we think of ground when we think of it, but underground is also caves. And I think they probably have an extensive cave system in some areas for sure. I've studied and watched quite a bit of stuff that they frack. You know, when I'm talking fracking, if you ever hear me talking fracking, or you check out some of my videos when I'm talking fracking, I'm talking about their fracking. I'm not talking about our oil guys doing the fracking to try to get oil to come into those areas. So if you think about that, when Sasquatch and Bigfoot are doing that fracking and stuff, they actually do it in ways to try to change up water systems. They could get a lake to start draining through to a lower system over here if they want to, because they're into fracking, they're into tunneling, they're into doing that stuff. And I'm telling you right now, they're doing it. I know it for sure. They mess around with water too much for them not to be entertained, to be just screwing up our system for some reason. Like, a lot of it seems, I sit there and I think, okay, you guys are just natural big ants. You're doing whatever you're doing. And then I sit there and think, but ants don't know they're really picking on us when they're doing certain things on our house and stuff. So if they're just a little pile of them, we just brush them away and whatever. They're a big infestation, we killed them all and stuff. Well, these things are doing the infestation, and I actually believe on certain levels they understand that they're being pests. So it's pretty heavy stuff. Right on, man. How many people do I got out there? It looks like my biggest show yet. The Yeti OG. Oh boy. Says 10 there, eh, Mary? So, Mary, where are you? 10 people. Right on, Marco. Hey, how's it going, Marco? 10. Oh, yeah, that's my highest count, 10. Nice, eh? Texas. That's right. I think we know that, don't we? So, anybody got something interesting that you want me to say about Bigfoot Sasquatch? Because it would be too hard for me to have to read all what you have to say. Half Moon Bay. Nice. It just sounds beautiful, that's for sure. I think I've seen... Okay, now you all... Yeah. But get this, Gary. With the plants being disrupted and stuff. I seriously, if I was outdoors, I would be testing them out and trying to figure out how to encourage them to do their magic on my plants, because the magic they're doing on our plants here, like this tree right there, there is no reason in the world almost that it should be as big as it is. It wasn't understood when we conceived that plant back in the day and stuff that it would ever grow this size or anything, or they would act the way they are. All of that, if the plant guys really got behind this understanding, they would be supporting it. They'll end up understanding the phenomenon more once it's just kind of, they wake up. That's part of the awakening stuff. That's part of the stepping outside your box and stuff. It's not, a lot of people think stepping outside your box is a fear issue. Stepping outside your box is thinking, a little bit different. It doesn't have to be bad. It doesn't have to be whatever, right? So, what was I saying there before Illinois jumped in my head for some reason? Saying some kind of stuff. Native plants should grow. Oh yeah, so That's right, with the plants. 6 foot a year? No. Native plants. Native plants are plants that we understood that have been, growing out in the forest and stuff. You're saying those ones are supposed to be 6 feet a year? Like, say, our big trees and all that kind of system? I didn't even think it was that much for those. But I know generally, like Christmas trees, all those different kinds of plants that they have the tree farms going and stuff, those plants are generally 1 foot to 2 foot, is my understanding. And if you watch Christmas tree cycles of when they're able to sell them off or whatever, it really is usually, it seems like it's about a 5-year-old tree or something. So that's kind of how I've gotten my answers from that stuff. So I'm not fully up on it. But I'll tell you here, with our big river trees and stuff like that, we've had phenomenal growth of some trees well into the 20 feet. And our leaf population, I guesstimated that it must have tripled. They got so carried away on some stuff where the leaves started not just from the bristly branches, came back on the bristly branches onto the tree, like onto the branch to the big branch, even on the branch in some cases, even on trunks in some cases. And I think we're going to end up really figuring out, they got a built-in steroid. And that's why I was saying that about, growing outdoor plants. I'd be trying to see how those guys, would try to stimulate those plants and see how they produced. They do it with blueberry plants. Start going up and looking at blueberry plants and just look at all the bark. Start studying bark. Do I believe they live within the trees? They live within the trees as they are, to me, they're a normal matter object or whatever. Like, they're going to be just a regular kind of a object like us. And so they utilize the trees as best they can. Can they be invisible inside a tree and stuff like that? If you mean something like that, I don't believe that at all. But I know they would be, digging out stumps. I believe they do that. I believe that they're so into the trees, they actually help the rooting foundations of what the trees do, the directions they go. I see a lot of cases now where they're a lot more gentle on our sidewalks, it seems, where they do their aggressive stuff on the tree. See, right, I believe now what I figured out is that right at the base of the tree, let's just say the bottom 2 feet of the tree, the 2 feet that's in the ground, right in there is the soul and the heart of the tree. This is the special part of the tree once the tree starts growing. Obviously, that seed's around here, so it must be wherever it grows around that. But it's within a circumference of that. They do a major stimulation to that stuff, and that's why I've talked about venom lots of times and stuff, because it's very weird. But it can be as simple as, say, if I had a scab right here, and I pick the scab, and the scab goes bigger, and I pick it and irritate it. Next thing you know, my skin start going like this, and my face all starts growing like that. We don't do that with our scabs. We just keep pulling away skin, and the skin kind of almost goes back to normal or whatever. But if it did that kind of a thing, that would be kind of, in a way, what they do with the trees. Well, because that tree is growing so much and pulling so much energy because of those wounds. They do the wounds throughout. They do the wounds throughout the roots and stuff. And if you do a wound way out on the tip of a root or way out on the tip of a branch, the tree wants to send energy to that. They got a way of their stimulation to get vast amount of stimulation to do that. They stimulate in a way where the trees do a vast amount of water drinking and holding on to. On the leaving trees and stuff, they're sweating this summer and stuff was quite interesting to watch because they just drank so much water. They got very fat because of the water. And yeah. And so that if you think about that, that's a tropicalness and stuff like that. I've kind of talked about that long back and still carry it on, where in some of my lookings, I wonder to myself, are they making some area more deserty? And are they making some area more tropical, more rainforest? Up here in British Columbia, we have an understanding that a lot of our forest is rainforest. And it's not necessarily because of the rains pounding all the time. It's more about how much moisture is held within the forest like this, and that's what gives it more of the rainforest. And this stuff is obviously the stuff that makes it happen, really. But anyways, so I almost see that they're doing the same thing. So you think about it, if it doesn't mean it has to rain necessarily all the time, and they can still build that kind of an ecosystem, that's kind of an interesting, neat fact. Because what will happen in the end is more precipitation as that area grows, and it does create more precipitation and will actually fulfill a cycle of, a full-out rainforest there. So they might be doing super important stuff for our ecosystem. Like, that's where all the stuff really has to go. Tinman, you feed. My feed had stopped? Or has stopped? It says that it's poor connection, but it's still going through. Hi, Laura. You appreciate it. You're welcome. I hope you guys still stuck around. What's my number out there? I don't know why my phone doesn't say it. Hey, Jackie, if you're still around, does your phone, when you're just doing this off of your phone, does it tell you how many people are watching? I'm going to open this, get some. $10, okay. Cool, that's cool. Yeah, it's people hear me, eh? Right on. Cool. 11! Yeah! Hey, did everybody hit thumbs up? That'd be awesome. Because, thumbs up really does help on the just sharing. It doesn't commit anything. You don't have to, it kind of just lets in your file. I guess it probably does tell something through YouTube, so they might send kind of those crazy videos to you more because you seem to like one of them, right? Thanks, Brown Dwarf. Awesome, Joe. Thank you very much. I've just been learning something about my beard because I've never had a beard this long. And I didn't every time I come, when you're playing with your hair or your beard and you come across a knot or something, I was just always breaking it. And I ended up figuring out that sometimes that can be just something tied around and there's like 10 hairs in that. So I'm kind of realizing that's probably not a good thing if I like a long beard, right? Oh yeah, eh? Mary's saying that sometimes I have to refresh the chat to make it work again. So that means come back, or is there actually a refresh button? Don't cut the locks. No, I have no plan on that, Brown Dwarf. Or refresh page. Yeah, I'm just on my phone, so I get nothing, no options. Turned off? What are you saying? You're turned off, or it turned off on you again? Maybe it's your connection, Gary. You said you're in Australia. 11 watching. Right on, Mary. Tap my phone. Oh, yeah? Tap, tap. You guys want to see any bargain sales? Here, I'll show you. Check out the new sales. Any rock? Look at that rock. I guess you can't see it very good, but rock bottom prices. Wow. Price match guaranteed. Oh, look at that. Even demo day, guys. So if you guys want me to ship you anything down there, I'll just double, because it's up here in Canada, means it's really good stuff. I'll just double the price and you'll still save money. Fine in Missouri. Yeah, I'm using their Wi-Fi. I do a lot. I've told them about, I went in there like a year ago and had, when I had those little business cards made up and stuff, and I told them some stuff. I think they all think I'm kind of one of those loony guys, because I sit here in the parking a lot and stuff like that, right? So I guess I am loony, right? And then, okay, loony though. Silverback, take care, man. Thanks for stopping in. So cool. Anything up? Anything can keep this rolling for a bit, or is it crashing? Take care, Joe. Thanks for stopping in. Right on, Venom. Thanks for stopping in. Yeah, I hear you, Brown Dwarf. You're welcome, Joe. I just scout the Mind Beast. Oh, is it for? It's the Mark Beast, I guess. But anyways, when you go live, when am I going live next? You know what, Mark? I'm not really figuring out a schedule. Right on. Perfect, man. I appreciate that. Tonight we kind of was a little bit slacky and stuff here. I felt like I was slacky. I hope, the little bit of stuff that I say, like I got lots of mind-blowing stories. I want to be saying my mind-blowing stuff. I want people to be really attracted to that it's more than maybe this where we think there's one or two of them out there. I remember reading recently, and I don't know if it was Russia or what, but it was kind of like on the other side there. It was very cold. Hey, JC, it was kind of that kind of a climate, and they have some kind of a guesstimation that they're, Sasquatch, I don't recall the name for it. I just read this recently. Their count is between, I think it was 30 or 35 or something like that, to 200. So this huge country that's almost as big as Canada probably, they're thinking that there might be 200 creatures out there. Like, to me, I think to myself, well, they're behind a conspiracy cover-up, or they're that clueless. Wow. Because it seemed like it was top official information. So, and the numbers that I'm talking are huge. And then there's people who relate with just my show quite a bit, where they've learned off my show. They're following some steps. They're already having some success. That means they're already getting the buzz of, yeah, I know there's 1 billion acres I'm standing in right now. And for some reason, I get to see this little 1-foot guy run over here and then run up a tree. And that's how he's describing it on his video tonight. And that's Rick. And it looked like a little monkey or something like that, he describes. And he says he's uploading it tomorrow night. And it's like beautiful, man. Like he got it sounds like he was seeing it visually himself. I don't know 100% on that. Yeah, we gotta learn a lot more. So Gary's saying, I think there is thousands on the planet and the country have seen them, as all countries have seen them. Yeah. Yeah, there's for sure they're in the millions, but I can't see how they're not like in the trillions myself. It's weird to say that number. I get mixed up every time I almost say it. I really haven't related with the word trillion yet. But that's what we are in, right? The humans are in 7+ trillion people. That's correct, right? Yeah, so Laura, that's what you say, eh? There's 4 different kinds then, eh? Yeah, I don't know about that, Laura. Laura's saying, so in the near future, I could do a video describing the 4 different types of Sasquatch. For sure, I can describe some different types, that's for sure. And, yeah, I don't know. I don't know how I want to stay in this field. I first have to... Oh, look, I got this thing backwards still. To me, that's funny. I don't know about you. Okay, so where are we here? Yeah, I hear you. Like Gary's saying, like Asian, African, Aussie. Yeah, like the Aussie, the native to Aussie. Like, yeah. Like it's like even if you look at Brown Dwarf's picture right there in his icon. Well, if you look at his icon and then you look at my icon, his icon he's got there, or thumbnail, let's call it, is not far off from what my thumbnail now has on there. If you guys happen to notice with my thumbnail, I put that pretty awesome Sasquatch picture on there. Yeah, it's a weird world. A weird door we're knocking on, eh, guys? There's browns, there's blacks, there's browns, there's reds. So who knows, says Gary. Hey, Andrew. Gray guy. Yeah, I call the grays. I mean, I've seen some... You know, where that one I have the Sasquatch now, where I show the picture, it's in my thumbnail there. It's a 2-second approximately clip. It's 14 seconds into, or 13 seconds into a video is when it happens. That video, that time, and all the videos around in that time, there's massive amounts. If you guys want to search them out, there's massive amounts in there. Really beautiful shots too. You just got to kind of take the time, and once you pull on that picture, lots of times it's like, wow, I know exactly what you are. And there's a whole bunch of grays. I've been working off my phone. I'm working off of living like this. I'm really wanting to get into an RV, so I got to really push hard for that, and I'm really thinking that's going to happen someday soon, and then I'll be able to sit, and then I'll be able to have an office, and then maybe I'll be able to, with this video editor guy, we're going to be able to sit in the office, put out some good quality work, and see where my channel gets to go on spreading good news to people like Mags and stuff. CAH, how's it going? CA and Mags, Andrew. I heard an encounter video where someone saw a white dog man. You know, if you think about that, they have been so good at eluding us. That, and then we have this, what's that camouflage thing called, where where they're doing their, whatever, me with little words like this, they go away and I don't get them back. But anyways, where they're doing their little bit of hiding stuff, maybe like for an instance with this white dog man, maybe it really is a white Bigfoot Sasquatch. And they're still pulling the trick. They're able to pull their jaw way over there, so it's like this. His face is deformed in such a way, and he's looking as he's running, and the guy figures the shape of the face and the way he all of a sudden starts to run and stuff. He's imitating running. I don't know. Like cloaking. Thank you very much, Brown Dwarf. Gary, I guess thank you too, because you said it first. I have left-hand drive GMC. 1 2 3 4 5 6 7 8 9 10 11 12 13 14 15 16 17 18 19 20 21 22 23 24 25 26 27 28 29 30 31 32 33 34 35 36 37 38 39 40 41 42 43 44 45 46 47 48 49 50 51 52 53 54 55 56 57 58 59 60 61 62 63 64 65 66 67 68 69 70 71 72 73 74 75 76 77 78 79 80 81 82 83 84 85 86 87 88 89 90 91 92 93 94 95 96 97 98 99 100 101 102 103 104 105 106 107 108 109 110 111 112 113 114 115 116 117 118 119 120 121 122 123 124 125 126 127 128 129 130 131 132 133 134 135 136 137 138 139 140 141 142 143 144 145 146 147 148 149 150 151 152 153 154 155 156 157 Nice. Oh, really? You imported it? Cool. That's cool. The Safari van, okay. A Safari Day van. Maybe I don't know that, but I would imagine. So is it one of the ones like in the 8-seater or something? There's also the Dogman, which has been, yeah. You know, and a weird thing has, when we do a little bit cool, Megs, about to talk about the Dogman thing, I've seen footprints because I don't know what a regular Bigfoot Sasquatch footprint, how they say those breaks are in it. Basically, in our foot, they claim there's, I think, 3 kind of full breaks. But when we're in sand and stuff, and we actually are just flexible with our foot, we can kind of just compile one pile. It's not like we're doing such a good flexing where we're making these 2 little piles or whatever. So how this brake system works, it doesn't necessarily work down onto the plateau of the ground. So if we're a flexible gymnast, I believe we can make 1 pile, if you're following me with sand. Well, I'm curious if those big 20-inch prints and stuff, where and what that is about. I haven't studied into that thing there, but I know in some of the prints, in a number of the prints, it was in the earlier days. Now I don't really fully get into looking for prints too much or really worrying about them too much. In my earlier days, I would find many times, like say this is the right foot, so this is the big toe, that there was almost like a break right here and directly right in front of the heel. So our break is further, it's past our heel. It's kind of goes towards center of our foot or whatever when it makes that compile on the ground in the mud or something. These ones are directly in front of the heel. It's just quite amazing. And obviously to me then that makes a really awesome thing for being able to climb up trees, with being able to get a 5-digit regular kind of foot thing to be able to climb trees well, there's got to be a trick there. So I don't know if that is common knowledge. You guys have heard about the breaks in foot like that? Because that might in itself be telling, like if we have two different kinds of feet going on there, how they actually sit and, this is when you need a doctor guy sitting beside you, right? When he's saying all the logical words and then you just pull it off of him and use that word. So anyways, because this foot is so flexible like that, I have seen this foot because, like I say, a break right before the heel, a break right at the toe line. It might even go on this angle as the toes do. I've seen that then from these beings, I believe, where they're walking right on their toes like that. And they'll do prints like that on purpose. It's part of, all they have to do now is come and go with their fingers or whatever. And they can transform it into a dog one right away quickly, or a bear one where they maybe hit a spot with their heel. They do fake prints, and it doesn't take them necessarily just a strike to do it. There might even be a procedure where the dad does this part of it and the kid finishes off like that. Like they like to learn, I can tell lots of times that the kids are monkeying around. We're way out in the boonies. The kids are just doing some crazy off prints. The mom and dad don't mind so much that they're lousy because nobody's around here. Nobody ever looks at the ground, blah, blah, blah. And then all of a sudden, Tinman comes around the corner and I start laughing because these are such lousy prints that I know it's the kids mucking around and learning, just like we outdoors people would do with our kids, we eventually let them shoot a pellet gun or play lawn darts and, chaperone stuff, right? But, I was gone, Mary. Sorry about that. on what everyone thinks these creatures really are. I say human hybrid. Yeah, I don't know about that at all, what I would think that they are, Laura, until that day, until I really know I can say something there. They have a mid-torso break. There we go. So Mary's pointing that out, the mid-torso. So that's us then. We have a similar thing where we do that mid-torso break in the rise and the thing or whatever. That's why we make the shoes like this. Correct, Mary? Where we have that hump thing there. Well, Patty, I get the feeling that Patty is kind of the same way. That she's a mid-torso break. I don't remember that, but I'm not sure on that, but that's how I remember the history of information that I knew. Well, I'm telling you with some of the work, and I went through multiple prints to even verify on this, that they weren't mid-torso type thing, how I'm thinking in my mind, and I'm sure you're getting it. They were that by the front toe break and right directly in front of the heel, right on that line. It was crazy how close it was to the heel that I noticed it on multiple times. So whatever was going on that, and those weren't the ones that I believe that they made, although that could be, that's the thing. Whoops, sorry about that. But we have to be aware that like I tell all the time, they make different kinds of tracks, all kinds of critters, all kinds of things and stuff. It's funny I haven't seen any snakes. I don't, out in the desert, I would be frickin' doing sidewinders things all over the place. It'd freak everybody out. Nobody would want to go around there. But they haven't figured that out, so don't tell them the message. If they don't figure out that message, they won't know to use that. That's the kind of being they are, eh? Isn't that incredible? Bluff Creek, that's probably where it gets its name from, is all the bluffs those things used to pull on them. You might be heading to Bluff Creek, Brown Dirt saying, or Dwarf, sorry about that. This weekend, cool, man. Mag is saying the government must know more about these beings. I don't know. Why do they keep it a secret? I don't know, Mags. Gary's saying it knew the knife. Okay, you're talking about something. Wondering the same thing, Brown. Their feet are a lot more flexible. Yeah, that's for sure, Mary. Yeah, we only have an arch, but, if you really talk to a bone specialist, our system is actually, I think, a 3-arch kind of system. But it really only, like how we understand it, comes through as one arch. It shows that in our step, like it's only a 1 arch kind of thing. Because that's where we just get arch support. We call it arch support or whatever. But, so I remember just studying into it a little bit and coming up with a couple of answers there. So Gary's saying there was a Sasquatch guy in a bush, had a confrontation with a dog man. He pulled a knife and it stopped. Oh, really? And stood up and backed off. For 1 hour, this thing walked the bush around him. Holy cow. So Gary's saying that some guy came up, or some guy was out in the bush, he has his hunting knife on him. A dog type thing's running at him. He pulls out his knife, the thing stands up. Wouldn't come at him anymore because of the knife, but hung out in the bushes for another hour, keeping the guy there and stuff. Weird, crazy, man. Weird, crazy. So, Brown Dwarf, you're not far from there, eh? From the Bluff Creek. A stone's throw away. Yeah, that's right, because you get a lot of stuff out. Like you're, Brown Dwarf, you're always, you obviously, I was wondering if you're on a big camp trip, actually, at times there. So, Tinman, read back on me. Oh, okay. Was that the one that I read back on you? 6 to 7 foot, eh? Did I go back far enough? I think I did. Yeah, so you're saying that dog, when he stood up, the dog man, was 6, and I hear you with all that stuff. Yeah, I wonder if that big Sasquatch, the big male that I have on video, if you've had the pleasure to be able to pick it out and see it. I've got it on 2 different cameras. In total film time, probably 12, maybe 15 minutes that it's in the video most of the time. Get to get movement out of it. I don't know on both videos if there's movement, but on the one video there's movement, there's head movement, and there's kind of a lower arm movement like that. Anyways, I could see how people could mistake that one for looking like a dog man. Because he's real freaky looking. He's really weird and bizarre. There's lots of people who can't see him. He's so bizarre looking. You're almost thinking that you're looking at a stuffed animal. I'm so gracious that I got that. I'm so gracious that I stood there. Thankful that I stood there for that long. Just arguing with the question in my mind. What was really going on? Because you think about it, Brown Dwarf, you know yourself. You stand there and you film for a long time. And you go home and you watch the film and it's a disappointing film or whatever. It's kind of a drag. So then that pull of going a long time, you just get, am I wasting my time? Is there something really there? You're on a distance where your mind and body isn't saying, jump over the log and go closer. The gravitational thing is you're being held there naturally. And so there's no question. The other day when I did that video and I went closer to up to 20 feet with that tree, I decided to do that on purpose. I was able to break through that barrier that holds us so many times, and I'm going closer. And I'm going closer again. And I think I did 2-3 times close, and I was within 20 feet. And it was that person that walked past, said something about the owls, that broke my concentration. And then what started to sink in is, what's going to happen when the uncomfort happens? If I do choose to go closer, and there's, because the kid's right there and stuff. So it's like I just stopped and walked away. So your mind really, some people say it's spooky stuff like that. It's virgin stuff too. A lot of virgin stuff. We're doing a lot of losing our virginity in certain levels with these Sasquatch things, and and just the mind way of understanding. And we're presenting that information. And once people hear this stuff and they start to, have experiences and stuff, they're not necessarily going to have that heart attack. They're not necessarily going to shit or piss their pants like some of these hunters, tough guys who have stood in front of a grizzly bear maybe, and been able to go like that. Or most of these guys probably could do that. But here now they see this kind of a being and they shit their pants. Is it really because of an energy force or something? I know with their vocalization energy and stuff like that, they could make humans collapse, I would imagine. I'm afraid of that kind of a thing because I do have my hearing discomforts. I do my best I can't wait until I get a really good break here and I get to just find some real peaceful, quiet stuff, and I get to do some kind of, I'll figure out my own thing, what I want to do to try to, just to get some good peace for my head and then come back into the system of some sort. So I look forward to that kind of stuff. And I tell you, the other night I was out and there was a dog not too far in the distance there, and he did a bark where... that bark, when it hit into my sound system and stuff, it just reminded me, I do not want a Bigfoot or a Sasquatch barking at me, man. So I figure, if one comes at me, like in upsetness or anger or anything like that, this is what I figure I just want to do. Like, I can do a pretty good barrel of a yell. I can try to control it where I don't go too crazy with it and I upset myself and I push my head off my shoulders or something. You know how we can do that energy thing and you just fill everything up with blood. So I got to barrel it out without getting too crazy. But basically, all my plan is just stop. I'm not going to even mimic it, but it'll be just the word stop, and it will be deep and harsh. It won't be a knife, something like that, and that will be that's what I've been programming myself to be my very first motion. Unless I happen to have a stick there or something, I don't mind standing like this, on guard with something. Not like where I'm going to, I'm all ready to stab you or anything like that. Nothing like that. So it's pretty crazy for us to have to think about that. And that's what, sorry guys. And that's why I was saying some stuff to Brown the other day and stuff. Really think about where you're walking around and stuff. And because after hearing how close, that's scary. Okay. I thought I recognized somebody else's thumbnail. So here we are. Kirk Strokes has a good Dogman vids, yeah? I don't even do Dogman at all. I don't really know what to think about that too much. Yeah, on the Mexico borders, you figure the Dogman, or you hear a lot of the Dogman stuff. Yeah, I've heard that too. In California. Okay. 6 Army guys that had confrontations, okay. Separate times then? With Bigfoot. But we're using blanks. Oh, okay. He tore the tents apart and scared. Okay, so these guys were camping. And he went through, and they didn't have live ammunition. And they went through and tore up their camp. They would have known that they didn't have gunpowder, I guess. You think about it, they've got to be able to have a scent for gunpowder. Okay, Dogman, okay. His head's like a dog and pointed ears, not like Bigfoot, okay. I've got a wick in one of my videos where I say it's 100%. I think I say it on there, or I think it might be the one where I say there's 100%. And I don't know. He's in there. He's in there, and at 4:20, I believe he comes up. She. And and he comes up from this side, and what happens is, so he comes in from it this way, like the camera's coming up, right? So he's up there and he's coming into it. So you kind of see his front legs like this first. He's sitting in this position. And then his head would be here, right? So imagine legs like this, going forward like this, and the head like that. And something real weird about his left elbow-ish thing when he's sitting there, right? I don't know. There's something weird about it, where it doesn't really own up to being like, say, like a dog. Because to me, I'm almost thinking that I'm trying to be bluffed to think he's a Rottweiler even. Those great big round eyes, fully the turn where he's, like, I'm seeing him about like this. So I get the one eye, the full roundness, where you get to see that, very awesome. You get the full round, but you start to lose it on this because it's a little bit of a bend. But they're both the same size. They 100% look like two eyes on a being's face. And then, because of the eyes, I really haven't studied it too much, to tell you God's honest truth. But here, it's kind of crazy, because you just talked about the pointy ears. Hello, AC. The pointy ears you were talking about. But just picture this. 2 black, hairy hands, maybe, going like that. So I was just thinking that. Maybe I'm being tricked there. Because I almost get a feeling like, are there those big, floppy ears like that? Like, there's something there to give me that. But they will, once again, trip us out. So that is yet to be determined. Maybe on this being, there is some kind of big, floppy ears there. You get to see the nose. You get to see all that part of the structure. You get to see all this sitting part of the structure. You really get to see it that well. It's a matter of how well the connection is for you through to there, and you placing it and grabbing it and stuff. So think kind of Rottweiler colors, because there is a little bit of brownness in there. And Yeah, big saucer black eyes. Like probably will give you an idea of, of a roundness about like this size almost. They give you that impression. And what he was he was quite a ways in the bush. And I could see him, but I wasn't 100% what it was. And that's one of the times again where I remembered that very well. And you can't always tell, so sometimes you move on. And that's one of the ones where, wow, I wish but I'm not going to wish. Well, I wish, but... So you see, you should look up into Patreon. You know, I have looked into Patreon, and thank you very much for saying that, but it's just weird. It's just really weird, you know. I don't know, you know, so I'm not going there yet. You know, I think where I'm going with this and the discoveries, you know, it's hard to say those words, man. It's hard to, you know, we're probably all of us who are coming on here are fairly modest people. So you probably connect and you probably realize he's a pretty modest guy or whatever type thing, but he's doing something pretty cool. For me to say that is pushing myself into that zone because that's kind of where I have to take it if I want to be part of the recognition of it, of my discoveries. And I feel like I've discovered a lot of stuff, but I believe also in a way that I'm actually just rediscovering it. I've rediscovered what natives do have in written words. At least these natives do in a nowadays text. And it says that they're caretakers of the lands. So that's obvious the natives had a relationship with them. So that's obviously true for hundreds or whatever kinds of thousands of years that somebody knew about them before me and knew they had a relationship with the land and they perceive it as good relationship with the land and they're doing good things. I just see how they're affecting us humans in not necessarily good ways, and we got to just beef up some security and stuff like that. So a whole lot of trades growing off of this, guys. A whole lot of trades. Boss of the woods, that's right. You know, dwarf, I said when I first started recognizing them, I called them woodsmen of the forest. Tinman, you have heard of pugwuggies or albat witches? No, I haven't. They are like dwarf Bigfoot. Yeah, Ewok type. Oh, boy. Also known as little people or a type of little people. Wow. You know, I've heard different things like that. I don't recall names, but yeah, I've heard things like that. And I don't know, man. Like a Doberman. I hear you, Gary. Yeah, kind of like a Doberman look then. But, yeah, almost let's say with the thickness between a Doberman and a Rottweiler. Not so barrel-chested. Although a Rottweiler can really have a Dobie can have his chest like that. That was always my favorite of Dobies. Dobies is one of my favorite dogs. I had a couple of relationships with some way back when I was a kid there for a couple of years and really liked them. Boss of the Woods, the natives. Thumbs up, Megs. Thank you. So, let's call her a night, folks. Thanks for coming out. Hope you enjoyed it. 10:41 here. Hey, Mary. It was a Dobie, eh? Yeah, I have some really cool stories with some Dobies and stuff. Just teasing with them, two of them, a male and a female. So, you're welcome, Mary. Take care, Gary. Thanks for all coming by. Great time tonight, great time. It's nice getting this information out and stuff, guys. Awesome, Megs, thank you. Thanks, Brown Dwarf. Peace out. Right on, Mary, thank you. What a beautiful night, eh? Cheers.